Ladies and gentlemen, podcast listeners of all ages, are you bored with traditional and dull real estate content?
Yes!
Do you want to be entertained by the most successful, innovative, and forward-thinking industry professionals?
Yes!
Do you want to elevate your business, be challenged to take action, and raise the bar in your personal and business dojo?
Yes!
Now welcome your ninja host, Jeff Fitzer.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real Estate and Mortgage Content Ninja podcast. And today we are going to talk about how to build a big ass real estate team. And we are going to do that with a inspirational, influential buddy of mine, a gentleman who I have met through our mastermind closing table out in the West Coast. This gentleman is, for lack of a title, we're going to call him a badass real estate team builder. I think that's a good way to describe you. Mr. Suneet Agarwal from Sacramento, California, Big Block Realty, Best Sac Homes Group. Suneet, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, thanks, Jeff. How's it going, bud?
It is going well. The weather here is still relatively warm, even though it's rapidly approaching cold temperatures, so we're still okay. How are you, my friend?
Good. It's a beautiful day here in sunny Northern California.
I'd rather be in Northern California, dude. Every time I interview somebody from California, I just get increasingly aggravated that I live in the Midwest.
Well, I would much rather be in Southern California. Every time I talk to any of our friends down there, I get here.
Touche. However, you dominate Sacramento, right? So tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, what's your background in the business, what you do now, et cetera, et cetera.
So this is about my 5th year as a real estate agent, we'll call it. In a different life, I ran a mortgage company, got out of that when the market tanked, did a bunch of other businesses outside of real estate. And then in 2014, I became a full-time realtor, worked for one of the older school brands, was the rookie of the year for the region that first year within 9 months. Next year, doubled my business. Then I went to a bigger brand that's known for teams and training and culture. Being there opened my eyes to different technology pieces and kind of masterminding. It's where I met, a lot of my current mentors like, Tristan Ahumada and Kevin Markarian, people who I now do and I'm in business with for different things. And after that, I kind of, went through the paces there, started a team there because that's what the thing to do was, right? And I really realized about myself that I like being a business owner. Just through my different seasons of my life, I've, always gravitated towards being a business owner. Left Keller, went to, flat fee brokerage, thought I could do better. So now we're here with Big Block. We have an office here in Northern California, hiring agents for the brokerage and the team and kicking butt and having fun, bud.
Awesome. So let me backtrack for a minute. The listeners, in theory, are real estate agents, maybe some mortgage professionals who are wanting to help their real estate agents. Backtrack to 2014 when you crossed the line and joined the real estate business on the real estate side. What would you say was one or two reasons why you think you became Rookie of the Year and did so well right out of the gate?
So in 2012, I kind of went into a retirement. I had shut down one of my businesses. I worked out twice a day and hung out on my farm and played a ton of video games and guitar and just chilled. Probably partied a little bit too much. By the time 2014 came around, or the end of 2013, my finances were a mess. And I was kind of hungry, right? Hungry literally and figuratively. Like I wanted to be able to do stuff and I wasn't able to because my financial, outlook was just horrible. I became a realtor. One of my dear friends and mentors pretty much got me off the couch, called my mom and said, let's get Suneet getting back into doing something. So I got in. I bought many homes in the past. I was unfamiliar with the process at that point and got in, right off the bat, started doing a ton of open houses with no real training or real strategy, and this is something I tell my agents that I coach and agents that work for me every day is I went to friggin' Google and YouTube and found a damn script. Everything, guys, is at your fingertips online, right? So I went and found a script that resonated with me, and I mastered that script, and I went and did every damn open house I could, and I started to convert those open house visitors. At the same time, about 2 weeks into being a realtor, having been in the lead game previously in the mortgage industry, I started buying Zillow leads, and I only had like $300 a month. And you know what? I spent that $300 a month on leads, and then all of a sudden it was $600 a month. Then it was $1,000 a month, and now we're spending more than I feel comfortable saying on this call on leads. Right? It was hustle and it was hunger. And if you try and do anything half-assed or nonchalantly, you're not going to do well. Every one of your listeners, Jeff, you yourself, we can all give countless examples of half-assedness, right?
Absolutely. Like you get out of it what you put into it. And this is an industry where there's a lot of half-assedness, if you will. And that's actually an awesome thing that you shared right there, because it's not rocket science, right? It's not like you have this secret potion to success. You just had discipline and you hustled your ass off. That's what put you in this position. So taking into 2015, when you doubled your business, I guess that's kind of what you were leading into, where you went to the Zillow leads and then you just started spending more money. But you mentioned something very important there. So it's not just, hey, it's who can spend the most money on Zillow and just magically you're going to have business. You have to convert. What separates yourself? Why do you think you're so good at converting leads? Whether it's Zillow, Realtor.com, Facebook, it doesn't matter. Why are you good at converting?
Like once you get a passion for something, and if I become successful at this, I'll make more money, right? It's a simple math equation almost. Like I wanted to make more money. I wanted to have a bigger team. I wanted to have more agents. I wanted to have nicer stuff. I wanted to have a better car, go on, mastermind trips in Laguna Niguel at the Ritz-Carlton for a bunch of money a night, good booze I want to drink. Just, the same thing, hustle, right? And I studied it. And I surrounded myself with people who were doing good at this, right? Like, once again, I would bug Tristan every day on Facebook Messenger. What do I do here? What do I do here? And, then eventually, got into coaching, being coached, having mentors. I just studied the heck out of it, dude.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And for those of you who don't know Tristan Ahumada, he is one of the founders of Lab Coat Agents, which if you're not in Lab Coat, which Suneet is very much involved in Lab Coat, as I am starting to become more involved, it is hands down, and we're plugging the hell out of this, Tristan, you're welcome, the best social media real estate group on the planet. I think you can attest to that, Suneet.
Absolutely. Being a part of that group opened my eyes and definitely had a positive impact on
opportunity as well. Okay, so let's
opportunity, stupid.
Right. And so let's fast forward to where you are today and the primary topic we wanted to talk about, which is obviously getting to the point, so leveraging your business and investing in your business and then building a team. So take the listeners back to when you realized, okay, that's what I want to do. How did you get started doing it? And then after that, talk about what has taken you to where you are now and so on.
I've been an agent and I admired these people that are putting big numbers on the board, right? Every week at this brokerage I was at, the one that's all about culture. I'm not going to plug any brokerage that I don't work at anymore. Go Big Block Realty. I wanted to be a guy with the big numbers on the board. Is that an ego thing? Sure, right? Is it a want to have more money in my pocket thing? Yes. A mixture of both, right? A little bit competitiveness too. My wife was pregnant. I wanted more money and I wanted to be on the board, right? And I wanted to have more time. It was kind of a quick trajectory because I had only been an agent for like a year and a half at that point. So these models say, oh, well, you have to hire an assistant first. You got to do this first. You got to do this first. I said, screw that. I want a team now. The quickest way and the cheapest way. And I was getting my Zillow leads and I was pretty good. I was selling maybe 30, 35 houses a year by myself. But that's a lot of work too, right? So I started leveraging agents around me and I just figured out what to provide thanks to my mentors and my coaches, right? And the answer was, you provide value in training and you provide business opportunities, right? And in this case, it was leads, right? People want leads. I think it's great if you're a team leader that you get people to join your team for being such a great guy or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you want to have an effective team, people want leads, especially if you want retention on your team. We have great high retention. So I got a system, I started generating about, 200-300 PPC leads a month, Google pay-per-click, not the best quality. I was continuing on my Zillow spend, and I really wasn't putting that much more money into it. And then just through opportunities and knowing people, I got really connected with another huge lead provider and went all in, right? I found something that I could believe in at the time and went all in.
The moral of the story here, the trick, your success piece, your golden nugget is the leads, okay? You buy in a crap ton of leads, it grows your team, but you still have to convert them. What's the trick? What do you think separates you? Because I think any real estate agent could go out there who's had relative success, made some good money, stock some money away and be like, I'm going to go build a team. I'm going to go spend several $1,000s a month on Zillow leads, which I'm just throwing a number out there, and bring in, 100, 150 leads a month. Well, naturally, I can't manage them all. You're the best, right? You're the converter. You're the guy who's leading this team. You're the one who's had the success. How do you teach conversion, and how do you get them to execute on the conversion? Because you're spending a crap ton of money here. If they're not converting, you're just throwing money down the drain.
Yeah. And it's a big piece of accountability and training. Look, if I tell somebody you're wasting my friggin' money, don't, right? You could bounce. Especially now that we're here, we do training for team agents every day.
Can you share some of the snips that you use when you're training your agents?
So it's not only training, but it's also systems, right? And a lot of the systems were built from my mentors and coaches, and a lot of them have been built through the masterminding with the guys. I leverage technology and everything, right? So if the agent isn't able to do their job, then I leverage tech to give us another at-bat, or give us multiple at-bats, right?
And by tech, are you talking about automation?
Automation, ISAs, every product out there, Jeff, and I think you know this about me, I have. And I use, like I always say, right, if we're able to convert at 1% better, that's potentially an extra 10, 15 deals a month, right?
Okay.
I think it's important for agents to know scripts and have opportunities for every situation, right? You go to an open house and you use something. And I'm not going to always tell people on these outside things what script to use. I'll say, this is what I've used. This is what I have. There's a magical place called Google and YouTube that has more. You don't have to use what I have. Use something, and just use something that is genuine and, resonates with you and your personality, right? That's something that I'm big on.
Correct me if I'm wrong when I say this, but it sounds to me like what I'm hearing you say is you're pretty empowering. You invest in your business. So number one, you spend a great deal of money. You want to grow a team, you better be willing to invest some money. Invest some money in leads to get your agents some business. But then it sounds to me like you empower them. It sounds to me like you're providing the technology, the ISAs, the automation, which does technically make their job easier, right? When they get a lead, they don't have to be pounding the phones within 5 seconds because
they do.
They do that too.
Yeah.
So it's all of the above. So you're literally pounding these leads probably as good as anyone.
Better is what my goal is, right? People say, oh, I have my friggin' ISA column, and then I have automation from one of these companies and I'm a text. Great. I have 2 ISAs, a friggin' agent, and 2 pieces of automation.
How often do you get the objection that's great, Suneet, but don't you ever feel like you're bugging the crap out of the lead?
People say that to me all the time, and those people don't have as many zeros in their bank account as me, so I could give a shit.
How can you argue with that? And it's fair. It's bold, it's blunt, and it's the fact, right? You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And it's interesting that you say that. That carries over into our business, like with doing video or doing branding. I hear people all the time say, oh, that's too much. That's over the top. Or you post too much. What you just said it leads into that as well. It's like people get in their own damn way and make excuses. Well, I'll call the lead once or twice. If they don't respond, they're probably not that interested. You say bullshit. You're going to basically have to tell me to F off before I leave you alone.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't care.
Well, that's powerful. And if I'm an aspiring real estate agent right now who wants to grow a team, this is words of wisdom, man. This is a guy who's done it. This is a guy who's doing it. go check them out. Best Sac, SAC Homes Group. I guess you can Google you, I assume, and I'm getting ahead of myself. You don't have to give your how they can find you yet, but go ahead. Where do they find you? What is your website?
BestSacHomesGroup.com. You can call me, right? 916-216-7375.
Okay, fair enough. And again, I said I'm getting ahead of myself because I do want to ask you another question. You've been in the business now 5 years roughly, and you've been to several places, as you mentioned. As an agent who wants to grow a team, who wants to expand their business, obviously you're going to plug Big Block, which here in the Midwest, nobody even knows who that is. But tell us a little bit about why you're choosing where to go, because there's a lot of brokerages, there's a lot of mortgage companies. There's not one perfect one, but there's a reason why we choose where we are at. Why do you choose where you are?
So for me, right, like I bounced around and it always kind of came down to the group that I was with and like the mastermind and like the mentors that I have, right? So for so many agents, I feel like they depend on their brokerage to fill all that, right? Like, oh, well, my broker's so great. I need him for this, or so-and-so in my office is so helpful. I mean, honestly, I never really even talked to people in the offices because my mentors and friends and mastermind partners around the country are so great that I don't need anything from a brokerage. Something that was big for me is splits. The traditional brokerage model with their, I'm going to go ahead and say it, many times, over-the-top splits and providing jack shit doesn't work for an agent on a team who was getting everything provided to them by their team lead and therefore paying a split to that team lead when the brokerage doesn't provide them anything but a place to hang their license. It makes it really hard for that said agent on that team. So I look for a lot of value. And for me, Big Block, besides their great cap and their great, little small fees, is being a big team. We do more deals than the average good agent. So we run into more problems, right? So having this broker support, having culture, and I don't want to pay you a lot of money because you're not doing anything for me, right? I mean, that's just it. Call it big-headed, whatever. I don't really care, but, know your damn worth.
Absolutely. So, moral of the story is you're running a business. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's probably easier for you from a compliance and legal and HR standpoint just to join up with somebody. So why not choose somebody who's going to give you the maximum ability to earn and I guess the autonomy to do what you want to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
I assume because I know these guys, the leadership doesn't hurt either. There is a mentorship and a leadership from the guys at Big Block that you look up to, and they do actually provide some value, but in maybe more unique ways.
Absolutely. I've been at brokerages with great commission models where I wasn't a huge fan of the leadership, right? And it didn't work.
Yeah. And that's a great message to brokers and leaders in any of our businesses, that if you think that just because you're paying max commission or low fees, that you can just sit back and do nothing, there are options out there for agents and team leads to go to other places that have phenomenal leadership and phenomenal culture. And I do know for a fact that Big Block is one of them. I also know that there's many other ones out there, but that is key. And you just said it best, because if you don't work to provide value, whether you're a broker, team lead, or whatever, you better be looking over your shoulder at all times.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you want to add? Obviously, you've given some excellent guidance to somebody who's wanting to grow a team. And like I said earlier, this is not rocket science, folks. I mean, this is discipline. This is hard work. Suneet has spent a lot of time networking and masterminding. He seeks content, Google, YouTube, lab coat.
I'm just going to say the same thing that probably most of our friends who have been on have said this, right? Is go to masterminds, go to events, learn, talk to people, go hang out at the bar afterwards and have that extra drink with somebody who you think is cool. First time I met Cuevas, right? We were talking about it. One of the smartest dudes in real estate marketing, somebody I looked up to from afar. And I saw him speaking at an event and I just hit him up afterwards. I was like, hey, dude, like, I have some questions. Can I buy you a couple beers? Sam, right? Like, same thing. Here I see, one more brown person like me with only two brown guys in the whole place. And I was like, hey, dude, let's have a shot. He's all down, right? And These guys are some of my better friends now. So make those relationships, get content, research, study, learn. And, the big thing for me is I took it out of my geographical area. And I feel if I wouldn't have done that, the growth probably would have never been there. The first brokerage I was at in 2014, not a single agent in there used a CRM. In 2014, that's not that long ago.
Not at all.
And I started using it and converting deals. And I was like, well, this must be the only CRM out there. Like, little did I know, right? I would just, join Lab Coat Agents. That's a good place to start.
You hit it on the nose. And I am a bigger testament than you. Look at here, little me in the Midwest who flies out west because I want to hang out with you guys because it makes me better. I'm in the mortgage business. You guys are always talking about real estate. I figure out a way to convert it to use it in my business. But, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with.
Dude, that's the truth.
100%. Always be seeking out people that are better than you. And when you get to be better than them, go find 5 more people that are better than you. You're never that great. There's always somebody out there that's more successful than you. Go surround yourself because, Suneet is a freaking phenomenal example of somebody who did just that. And look at you now in 5 short years, not even 5 years.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
Years, yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome, brother, man. Well, I appreciate you being on. This is great content. We are going to obviously see each other here soon, right? Early November.
Oh, yeah.
Closing table. We're going to see each other next year at some Lab Coat Agents events. Speaking of events, we've got some more information coming out about Lab Coat one-day events that are coming out next year. Suneet will probably be at a bunch of them, if not all of them.
You have to be at all of them, yeah, which I'm excited about. So
we will share a cocktail or 6 at each one of them, I'm sure. I look forward to it. So once again, if anybody wants to reach out, pick Suneet's brain, learn more about how he grew his business, how can they find you?
Yeah, just shoot me a text. 916-216-7375. Add me on Facebook, Suneet Agarwal. And Jeff, I'm going to point out my name says Kevin Markarian here because I'm always logged into his Zoom. So Kevin, hey, Suneet Agarwal, Facebook. I'm friends with Jeff.
Absolutely. Best Sac Homes Group.
BestHomesGroup.com, yeah.
And SAC is SAC as in Sacramento, California. This is the man in Northern California. I say that because Kevin is also in Northern California. That's funny. I think most people are listening to this, not watching it. But you know what? For the few people that do, I'm glad you pointed that out because you are not Kevin Markarian.
No, I was always logged into his account.
Good stuff, brother. Well, man, I appreciate you being on today. I look forward to seeing you really soon. Thank you for the awesome content. And we'll talk again here real soon.
All right, Jeff. Thank you, brother.
Take care.
If you're looking to elevate your business, aligned with continual innovation and evolution, Jeff wants to talk to you. Go to FitzerMortgageTeam.com and connect with him today.